listen to records, smell the cover, read all the verses. Tell me about your favorites on vinyl and vision.
I'm really getting used to that theme song. Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning into our show. Jimmy Drab, your host. Vinyl Vision is the show. Tonight's guest is my dear friend, Steve Mattos. Currently of Chrome Jackson. He has been in other bands such as Arab on Radar, Athletic Automaton, and Doomsday Student. I don't know if I'm forgetting anyone, so I don't think so. But his current project, Chrome Jackson, which is a solo project, has a new album out. It actually came out March 18th, which is my birthday. That's amazing. Thank you, Steve. Thank you for that wonderful gift. I was hoping to get this show done a little earlier, a couple days earlier, as a matter of fact, because September 29th was Steve's birthday, and I'd like to wish him a very happy birthday, and I'd like to encourage all of you to find him on social media, wish him a happy birthday, belated, of course, and no better birthday gift than to go ahead and pick up this album from him off of his Bandcamp page. It's currently $8 on the Bandcamp, and it comes with a download code, so you can actually download the whole record, all glorious 29 minutes of it. Currently, you are probably listening to a selection off this record, the title track, Majestic Flap Flap. Steve's a wonderful man. I love him to death. He's a very good friend, and we just had a lot of fun with this show. It's fun to have him back on. He's actually he was actually my second guest, so it's really great to have him back on 2 years later. I can't remember the exact date, but I'm pretty sure I'm close to my second year anniversary right now. I probably already passed it, and I did not even acknowledge it. Oh well, these things happen. So, thanks to Steve for coming down. So much fun to talk about Chrome's Half Machine Lip Moves. That's their third album, released in 1979 on Siren Records. Really interesting band, really great topic for us to discuss, because that band has a lot to do with the music scene in Providence in particular. I've been meaning to listen to it for a long time, and so I'm glad that I had this opportunity to delve in deep. So I encourage you guys to do the same. Buy the album from Steve, and do all the things you do with the internet. Please like, share, subscribe, and rate and review. How much do you fucking hate hearing that right now? But whatever, man. It does help. So please do it. You can leave a bad review. I don't care. Whatever you want. Whatever you feel. Thank you very much for listening and watching. And here is our show.
Crazy.
So let's see. So Steve, 2 years ago you were here almost to the day.
Oh my God.
I think you were here in October.
Really?
Yeah, so it's like we're just almost reaching our 2-year anniversary.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I've done things like this before. Like I've gone into like Armageddon Records to like check on merchandise and stuff, like what I've sold.
Mm-hmm.
And I swear to God, every year I go at the same time and I don't realize it. So I'm like, I don't know. It's weird. I guess it must be on like some kind of...
It's your biological clock.
clock.
It's still ticking. That's good.
Yes.
Yeah, actually, I saw on Instagram it was your birthday, or it's coming up, right?
It's coming up. They
Okay.
did a little surprise for me, so that was why it was... but it's on the 29th.
So you haven't officially turned yet?
I haven't. No, I'm not rushing that along,
Oh, of course
50?
not.
No, but it's all right. Whatever.
I wanted to get you a little like over the hill plaque or something. With it being almost Halloween time, I want to get one of those tombstones over the hill.
Exactly. Bring out all the like old man stuff, like get like a T-shirt and a mug and everything. Yeah, totally.
No, I've learned my lesson, man. I'm not making fun of anybody anymore for their age. I'm not aging people out, because I just realized I'm starting to bald a little bit, starting to thin out.
Really?
And I was just like, oh fuck, all that ball busting I was doing to this guy I work with. I was just like, I shouldn't have been busting his balls. Now here I go. I'm gonna be a little Q-tip.
You'll be fine. You're a handsome guy.
Whatever. I'm not too worried about it. But that teaches me. That's my karma. So Steve, you're here again, which I'm happy about because I just love you to death. You're just such a great guy and so fun to talk about. Talk with, I'm sorry. Not talk about. I talk about Steve all the time behind his back.
No, I love you too, man. It's such a pleasure
to
talk to you.
Because I wanted to have you back on because you put out a new album. Would you call this a full-length album? 8 songs, half an hour about?
It is. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, it is. It's I might even be longer than the last one I put out.
Was it?
But I could be wrong about that. I'm trying to remember. I actually should have done my research on my own record in terms of the time. I don't remember how long it is now.
The second one, Invertebrate Waltz, you're talking about.
Oh no, I was saying how long this record is.
Oh,
but
this
also,
one's 29 minutes.
It says it. Okay. And the first one, yeah, I guess it was probably about that. It may have been a couple of minutes less.
Mm-hmm.
Invertebrate Waltz because I'm not 100% sure, but one thing I do know is that this tape was at least short enough to put it on both sides. In fact, that was recommended to me by Daryl, who did the mastering again. Had him do it, Daryl Rabideau.
I see that. I'm looking at it right now in the J card.
And he was telling me, he goes, you should just put this on both sides because it's going to fit better. So
on the cassette.
On the cassette.
Yep.
But yeah, I think they're about similar length between the Majestic Flap Flap record and the Invertebrate Waltz. I think it's probably similar time, but I do think it's a couple minutes more.
It could be. Yeah, it's about the same. I'm not really positive myself, but Chrome Jackson, Majestic Flap Flap. So reading in the inlay just now, I just noticed that it says that the majority of these song titles were inspired by Maslin Crump.
Yes.
Age 8.
Yes. I don't know if you've met the Crumplings.
I know them. It's been a long time since I've seen them. That's Pat Crump's family, his kids, right?
Exactly. Yeah, it was actually it was really funny because we went over there for Christmas, and we've done this before where they've had us over for dinner, for Christmas.
Yeah.
I mean, not on Christmas, but pre-Christmas dinner thing.
Christmas time.
Yeah. And it's become almost like a tradition. It was nice. We would go over there. But Maslin, she's like she's a card. She is a funny kid. She's really inventive. She definitely, has like the type of personality that is like she's gonna probably be an actor or something. But she also plays. I know Pat is teaching her drums.
Oh, okay.
But she's just got a wild imagination, and like she had. I don't even remember how it came up, but she had some sheet of paper with all these names on it, and they were so funny to me. They were just the most like kind of free, sort of like what's the word for it?
Freeform
freak
out stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Just free
like
expression because of her age.
Yeah,
it's the kind of the way your mind is, but she has a very special kind of mind like that.
Yeah.
And so she had written all these titles down for whatever reasons. They were things she saw or something. Maybe they were things she was describing certain things, and it was how she was writing the words down and how she was describing them. And they just looked so Dada-esque and abstract to me. And I had no titles, and I had been telling Alicia, I was like, I don't have any titles yet for this record. And it was like, all of a sudden, it was like a treasure trove. And I said, "Could I use these?"
Yeah.
And so most of them are from her. They're similar. They are based on things she wrote down.
Oh, that's cool.
And I just found them to be really up my alley in terms of the sort of like, the odd nature of the words. Like they don't really mean anything.
Right, like the first track, ornament, caw.
Yeah. She could be describing an animal. It's likely.
Ornament. If it was Christmas time, especially, like maybe some Christmas ornaments, the caw.
Absolutely.
Something like that.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Absolutely. And
that's great.
And then when she writes, as she's like 6 or
8 at the time.
And that's right. It actually is on the tape.
Right.
She is, spells words incorrectly sometimes, but and it was perfect. So
right.
it just. And then there was a couple titles on there, as it says, that there was one title I got from some story or some video I saw on Instagram about a octopus that was grabbing an eagle. Like, it was actually, I don't know where this was videotaped, but there was an eagle that had fell on into some lake or some body of water, and
And the
an
octopus fucked it up.
octopus was like totally enwrapped around this thing.
Octopus versus eagle, tentacle difficulties.
So yeah, they all have things like that. One of them, Frosty Winter Mom, was just I think it's fun to just say where these titles come from.
Sure.
Alicia and I were watching a Bob Ross episode on Netflix, right?
Oh, yeah.
Always fun, you know.
Oh,
Amazing.
yeah.
And it said like Frosty Winter Morn, and both of us read it wrong, so I thought it said Frosty Winter Mom. I don't know, just thought it was really
Being
good.
married to, I guess, like her mom.
Yeah.
She has that cold shoulder to you. Kind of, you're like, oh, she's frosty, like your mom.
Exactly.
Cold
And
as
I
a
guess,
mother-in-law's love.
Yeah, and also with the ornament caw-caw, I guess you get a little bit of, you can tell when this record was made, right? It's like wintertime.
Yeah. Well, with you having told the story, I mean, I didn't know that you had Christmas, like some kind of Christmas dinner with the Crumps.
Yeah.
You know, because Pat Crump used to be your bandmate in
Yes.
Athletic Automaton.
Yes.
Which, last episode I forgot to mention, Pat. I mean, you mentioned, like, I forgot about Athletic Automaton, but
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we were
equally
a band
good
for,
music,
Thank you. Yeah, just the two of us. He's an amazing drummer, just awesome guy all
Right.
around. And we've been friends for, a long time, and it's really nice when, with them living out there, like, not getting to see him all the time. It would be like we'd go over there and just do that. It was just it's been a nice little thing that we did. But it was fun. It was fun hanging out with them. It was fun to get the inspiration for those song titles. And
I bet. Well, like you were saying about Pat, is that you have to like love that can happen. Two people, two friends that get together. They both happen to be musicians, and you just click.
Yeah.
Right. Do you think that was what happened with you and Pat? Like when you guys were starting up Athletic Automaton, it wasn't like you told him, hey, I want to start a band, be my drummer. It was just like you guys were just jamming and you just knew that you guys could work together and well.
Well, I mean, I don't know if I had told you this story when we were last time. I don't remember how.
No, we didn't really
how
talk about
much we had-
Athletic Automaton at all, actually.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, with him, we met when Arabon Radar was touring. So
right, because he was
in Kansas City.
Kansas City, okay.
And it had to be like 97 or 96. And our booking agent had somehow they knew the band that he was in, which was called Pelham 123. And I remember we were booked to play the show, and he was talking them up. He was like, oh, they're an awesome band. They're amazing. So we played the show in Kansas City. Pat will remember it more than me. I can't remember. It almost seemed like a restaurant, but they just blew me away. They were a three-piece band: drums, bass, and guitar, and instrumental, all instrumental. But their feel and their whole vibe was very Swans, like the band Swans.
Yep.
And dirgy, kind of heavy, brooding kind of stuff, but really really rhythmic. And we just thought they were really an awesome band. And so I always thought he was an amazing drummer. I mean,
right.
And when he left Kansas City and came here, Arabon Radar was still a band.
Right.
And when he moved here, and then he had been here for a few years before Arab broke up. Or I guess it wasn't that long. I think about it after we played with him that they moved here, because if we met in like 96, 97, it was he moved here probably like 2 or 3 years later. And then by 2002, Arabon Radar broke up. But Pat, I guess, had been playing in some bands while he was here. I know he was in a band with Sean Larkin. That was Saturday Night Palsy.
Oh, okay.
And so we started playing right like not too long after Ara broke up, and I started seeing Pat like at Whole Foods. We started talking, and it was sort of brought the subject up. He, I think even before I did, he was like, "Hey, we should jam." I didn't really know what he was doing, so that's kind of how it started. We actually just started jamming together. He had a practice space already, and yeah, it did click because we were kindred spirits in that way, and we liked the same kind of music.
Right.
I liked Pelham 123 a lot, and I even always in the back of my mind, even though I love Arabon Radio, but I always had this thought of being in a more free-form band that did longer jams, like in style of Can and Hawkwind, and I don't know, things like that were more opened up and kind of like psychedelic. So he was that kind of drummer. He was sort of like the kind of guy who really liked to jam and kind of have that be part of how the songs were. We jam Arabon Radar jams all the time, and that was like how we wrote. But felt like with Arab, it was like with Athletic Automaton, we were definitely stretching things more sound wise, bigger soundscapes and stuff like that.
It's going to be inevitable. So for anyone listening now, we're actually outside of my studio because we're trying to do the social distancing, and being outside is actually good for that because we can not have a mask on and still be close enough to each other to make this happen, which is nice because I don't like the computer thing, the remote conversations. I mean, it's great to be able to speak to people that are all over the country and the world, but I lose the vinyl aspect because I like to. I'm as much of a fanboy as you are. I mean, the reason we did this show in the first place was to be able to get kind of hands-on with vinyl records, and talk to people that are vinyl record fans and enthusiasts and stuff like that. So, we might as well just get right into it. I've been really excited to get my hands on your record.
Yeah.
The record you chose tonight, which is also something different from last time. Last time I actually asked you to be on, and I gave you the record. I told you that I had this record I wanted to feature, which was John Lennon's Plastic Ono Band, which is a great record.
It's a great record, and it was great that you asked me because I love that record, and I've always loved that record. I love the sound of that record.
Yeah.
I always loved the production. I love the song. So it was great to do that record.
Yeah.
It really was.
But now it's your chance to actually feature the record that you think probably had a major influence on the way that you started making music.
It absolutely did. There's no doubt about it. I mean, when I think of growing up as a teenager, I was listening to metal and classic rock, Zeppelin, all that stuff. Still like all that stuff. But I feel like it was like the early, I was around 2021, and I started meeting people that had much more eclectic, interesting music tastes. And one of the people that was big for that for me was Jay Ryan from Six Finger Satellite, the singer. We used to work together at Whole Foods, and he would occasionally give me a mixtape. It was awesome because he would give me these amazing mixtapes, and there was one mixtape that had Stooges Funhouse, Chrome, Half Machine Lip Moves, and something else on it. And I had a couple tapes like that he had given me. Birthday Party. There was one that had Birthday Party Junkyard on it.
Like the full-length album on the cassette?
A full-length on the tape. It was mixtape. It was the best mixtape ever. And the thing is, I didn't know some of those bands at the time. When I was 20. I definitely didn't know Chrome, and I didn't know the Birthday Party. I had heard of Nick Cave and the Stooges. I mean, I knew Iggy Pop. But honestly, I hadn't heard any of those records. And Chrome was one of the ones that was on there, and I completely was I'd never heard anything like them before.
Right.
And the first listen or two, I was like, what the fuck is this? And then it was just this is the best fucking thing I've ever heard. Like, to me, it was so game changing. Along with, honestly, I knew all of the other bands on that tape. Like the
Right.
Birthday Party was also hugely influential to me. Like once it's like bands like Chrome and like the Birthday Party were like, I feel like what turned me over into a whole nother musical. Like it was like I found the thing that I had been missing in
Right.
my life musically, and it helped sort of open up my whole mind to music in a lot of ways. Getting, it's the things that, like, some of the influences that they had, a band like Chrome, it was like you could hear where they were coming from. If when you hear this record, you could tell they were into like Hendrix, you could tell they were into like just like experimental music. Like they did all cut up tape loop stuff.
Right.
You could tell that they were into punk, that they were into like just more avant-garde kind of music.
Right.
And
art in general.
art in
actually.
general,
Yeah.
because in fact the two guys in Chrome, the main guys, are
Right.
Damon Edge and Helios Creed.
Right.
And Damon Edge started the band.
Yep.
And he's kind of like, I mean, it's him and Helios, no doubt, but like Damon Edge is the guy that like recorded the records. He did the artwork on these early records.
Okay.
And the very first Chrome album, The Visitation, like Helios Creed wasn't even on there yet.
Right.
That's a great album, but definitely when Helios came on in '77 with the Alien Soundtracks record, you could see the shift of how they changed their sound. Like the Alien Soundtracks record and Half Machine Lip Moves, they're like chop up records. It's almost like listening to like a record version of like the Dadaist, like Exquisite Corpse, where you draw something and then you fold it over and you don't know what's going to be on the other.
Right.
You keep drawing and you don't even know what's on the other side of what you're drawing. Or it's like William S. Burroughs with his like cut up writing when he did Naked Lunch and stuff like that. It's like he basically would just like put words together.
Right.
I mean, I think Chrome was more. It's not like they were completely doing random things like that, but when you listen to the record, it kind of just runs through.
Yeah.
And there are songs, but there's so many. Sometimes you don't even know where the song begins and where it ends.
Yeah. I had that problem because I was listening to this on digital format.
Yeah.
Just on earbuds. So I'm just like, what song am I on? I'd have to like look at it and be like, what track is this?
I had to do this. I've listened to this record so many times, and I don't often like look at the song titles.
Right.
I mean, I'm aware of the song titles like TV Has Eyes and Abstract Nymph, is all this stuff like that. Abstract Nympho, all these crazy titles. But you still don't know where they start and end.
Oh yeah. That's why I'm kind of curious to look at the record. I just kind of want to see.
Yes.
Because a typical record. I mean,
please do. Have a look too.
Yeah.
So
thank you.
This and I will say this about this record too. They they've been an obscure band, for so long. They're one of those bands that like after the fact, everybody like realized how great they were, and that all the people who were into them were obviously like just into underground music. So, but there were bands like Six Finger, bands like Jesus Lizard, and just like supposedly they're considered to be a band that helped start industrial music, though I don't necessarily think of them as industrial music. I really think it's like hard to describe what they do. I think one thing to describe them as is like sci-fi alien punk, with like
I'll agree with that.
Yeah.
Let me actually read you a quote that I found. So I found an interview with Damon Edge from 1980.
Oh wow, okay.
So this was I believe that he was at the time promoting Red Exposure, the follow-up album to this one.
Yes.
This, by the way, is Chrome Half Machine Lip Moves from, let's do this right, released March 15, 1979 on Siren Records, which is Damon Edge's own record label.
Yep.
So so this quote is that the interviewer asked him, can you describe your music? And so he says, what it is to me is like, well, I was in church. This might be read wrong. This might be written wrong, by the way. It was off the internet. Well, I was in search. I was trying to dig out from ourselves dreams, trying to find them on tape or to make them real. If we do a song and it is like dream. It's like an audio track to our dream. It's like a soundtrack to a dream you might have had, but you don't remember. But when you make the music and finish it, you start and see the dream that you had before. You didn't even remember it, but after you do the music, then you remember the dream because it's part of you. It's part of something that's way down deep in you, and you dig it out. Not every song we do gets that deep. And then he ends up asking the interviewer a question about, has he heard Alien soundtrack? So, so I mean, you gotta mind my choppy reading of that, but it's not written well. So
maybe
it's hard
it was
to
translated, because I know that in 1980, I think it was 1980, he moved to Germany.
Oh no, did you move to Paris, right?
But it's possible maybe that interview was translated from French or something, and so it has a little bit of like a choppiness to it or something.
I don't really remember, but it just could have been that they transcribed it from 1980.
Yeah.
Like it was just this weird like website cataloging a bunch of like archived like interviews.
Yeah.
I don't remember the exact name of the website, but it could have just been that. So
it's great that you found that, because honestly, there isn't really even that much stuff out there.
Not a lot of information about this band,
which is
nor this
weird.
recording.
Yeah. Well,
oh, this is awesome.
Yeah, and so when this record, Alien Soundtracks and Half Machine Lip Moves were reissued on Touch and Go Records in the late 90s, like mid 90s or late 90s.
Look at that.
So, and that's when I got my first copy of it was from that, was the reissues. But I had always wanted to get the originals. And so I like searched, as we all, as you do searches now, but back in the day, I was going up to Boston a lot, and I found this in Boston. So, and since it's Siren Records, it's definitely the original. It's an original, and it's got the insert with the lyrics.
I would imagine that this is an original. I actually haven't done any. I've never held one of these, because I know how rare they are. I know how hard they are to come by. Minus maybe, of course, the reissues that have happened.
Yeah.
But you actually mentioned how you were looking for Chrome on the first episode. We were talking about crate digging and like record hunting, and you had said it's just like you just gave some hypothetical situation of just like someone said that there's a copy of that in Boston. I'm just like, I gotta go find it.
That was seriously one of the bands that I was on like my major search for to get the like original vinyl, and like someone like that in Birthday Party. Now, of course,
but
not only are they
expensive, right?
Oh man, so much.
When did you get this one?
I mean, again, it was probably in like the early 2000s. It was as you can see, it was $30 at that point.
40. I think it was $39.99.
Oh, okay. All right.
$39.99.
Oh, okay.
Penny short.
Maybe it's the other one, that the Alien Soundtracks or whatever that I have. And Visitation, I was able to get all of those, and it was I was on a hunt to get those, and it was great because the reissues that were Touch and Go, they didn't they didn't do like a replica reissue, it didn't have the insert, it didn't have
I'm sure Touch and Go was all over it. They had their logo on it. They probably changed the labels.
Exactly. Yeah. But I think so Helios Creed, he still goes as Chrome, and he's still performing. He has a label now himself too called Cleopatra Records.
Oh, is that what he's the one that's doing that? Okay.
Because as you know, Damon Edge died in like the
95.
Yeah. Like hard. He was like, I don't know. I think things were rough for him at the end of his life, because he got a divorce from his wife, and
that'll fuck you up.
Yeah. Just seems like he wasn't doing as much, because Helios Creed like continued on after Chrome finished in like '83 and started doing solo records with.
Right. It took some time. It took some time before Helios ended up like absorbing the name and kind of like rehashing the catalog and performing under this name. Because
Damon Edge was going under Chrome himself too for a while when he was in Europe. He was.
Right.
Yeah. So.
And he put out a few records on his own without Helios.
Yep. And I think you're right that also it's possible that around with him passing away, he was able to get the
I'm just thinking about the track listing. There's nowhere for me to see the track listing.
Oh yeah, the only where the track listing is on the label
labels.
on the record. And just so you know, if
Great
you look
choice,
at the
Steve.
if
Great
you
choice for
yeah, well look at the lyrics, because the lyrics will tell you the song titles, but the lyrics are written
Yeah, on that poster.
and they're all on the poster, and they're all kind of like angled. They kind of they're not in a straight line, and it's not it's very hard to read.
All right. Yeah, I'll try to figure it out.
But
So the copy online that I've been listening to the iTunes digital version, and the only version of this album they have on iTunes includes that bonus, the Read Only Memory.
oh yeah,
read
yeah,
only memory?
read only memory.
Yeah.
Yep, because that
So-
yeah.
So along with the same thing of like not knowing where the tracks begin and end, for this album, I had no idea when that album started either. So I mean, like, 'cause like I said, I wasn't looking, and I didn't even know the original track listing for this album.
Yeah.
So
Well,
this
it is on Wikipedia. If you look up
Right,
the
right.
and it does have the track listing there, but you're right that it's like you can't like you can't be like, if you can look at them on the record, but then you have to take the record off and
Right.
then try to like but I think it starts with TV as Eyes,
Yeah,
and
that
then
that one's easy.
then
Yeah.
it goes to yes, it is totally, and then second is
Zombie Warfare.
Zombie Warfare, and then third is the March of the Chrome Police.
Okay.
And then, well,
Yeah.
it's
You
like,
you know the record. I didn't
Yeah.
know it, so it was a little confusing for me. Because in
Well,
addition to, the perplexing, the enigma that the songs are when we listen to it. Now, we're not going to listen to the whole thing either. So we're just going to kind of give little pieces here and there. It'll be just like listening to the record, because that's kind of what it's like.
yes.
But this was cool, man. I'm glad that you chose it, because I have been meaning to get into some Chrome. I've been hearing about them for the past few years. I know that the records are really hard to come by. I doubt I'll ever get my hands on one for a reasonable price.
Well, you might be able to get a reissue, like I said.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
because Cleopatra,
Maybe.
but getting the originals, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Oh, it might be. I don't know.
But,
I haven't looked into that.
But so it's weird, like, so I've heard a lot about this band because of you and because of all the other members of Arab on Radar, because, and then Rick Pelletier.
Mm-hmm.
I spoke with him before, and he was one of my earlier guests too, before I was telling them to bring on their record, the record of their choice. So I had him feature Stooges Funhouse.
Yeah.
Which was fine, which he loves. I mean, everyone loves that fucking record. I mean,
Yeah.
we might as well start the podcast of, like, the Stooges Funhouse, like, appreciation show.
Exactly.
Because every fucking guy I talk to, it's just like, I want to do Funhouse. It's
Yeah.
like, I already did it. But so Chrome is actually this, like, kind of this thread between a lot of these bands in Providence.
Yeah.
Six Finger Satellite specifically, because of what Rick was telling me and his admiration for them, and he wanted to do one of these records.
Oh, he did, yeah.
I didn't know which one he wanted to, but so I've listened to it.
Dancing Jakes. I mean, all these guys. I
Anybody.
mean, it's like the whole Eric. I mean, like you said, Eric, all yeah. I mean, I'm sure Pete Prescott, that you had on here, probably was a fan. I'm sure. It's like there's just like, yeah.
Basically, anyone that does like noise,
Mhm.
no wave, punk,
Mm-hmm.
industrial, weird noise shit is gonna like Chrome.
Absolutely.
And I mean, if they don't know them yet, they're gonna come across it eventually. So there's definitely some like obvious similarities and comparisons that we can make. Like listening to this record, there was, I don't know what song title it was, but I definitely we'll get into it and we'll hear it. And there's some parts I was just like, oh yeah, this sounds just like Arab on Radar. And then, like, I don't remember who I was talking to about it, but somebody was telling me, like, I was telling them about, like, oh, this band, like, influenced Arab on Radar, and they were like, yeah. He's just like, yeah, but he's just like, did you, like, Six Finger Satellite is exactly that band too. Like, they're like a carbon copy, basically, which I don't necessarily agree with completely. I can see
No, but
the similarities.
But they would. I would think that they would be the first ones to admit this. But there is a couple songs on. They've always snuck in little influences on their records.
Yeah.
You could hear them on every record.
Sure.
Like, I mean, sometimes pretty obvious. And there is, like, I think Severe Exposure is where I hear there's a couple songs that are very Chrome inspired.
Hmm.
Maybe not this, like there's a couple riffs that are like
Yeah.
very similar.
Right.
Like you can hear it from whether it was from Half Machines or if it was from Third from the Sun or Blood on the Moon. Like those records, even Red Exposure too. Because I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about Chrome too. I should just as a side note, all their records, I mean, Alien soundtracks and Half Machine are very similar.
Yeah.
In that cut up style, but then when they go to Red Exposure, it's very different album. I mean, it's still Chrome, but it's different. If you listen, it's almost
Yeah.
dancier.
Well, they
It's
had
like,
a budget by then because Red Exposure was their major. Can I call that major label?
Oh yeah,
like
right, because it
Beggar's
was
Banquet?
on Beggar's Banquet.
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
So that was a big move for them,
Right.
from being like completely self-produced, you
Yep.
know, to being on a label that was actually probably helping them to a degree.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that's so that was that. Let's get into the record. I'll go over some of these notes that I had in a little bit. I want to listen to some of this son of a bitch.
I know for sure that this first song, TV Has Eyes, there's two songs on this record that Jesus Lizard did a 7-inch where they covered both TV Has Eyes and one other song on this record. It's like two of the songs that have the most like kind of like rockin' straight ahead
Yeah.
guitar riff style thing going on.
Okay.
But there's a 7-inch out there that they put out that it might be on a CD now, like kind of like the read-only memory where it's like probably mixed in with like another record for Chrome.
We're gonna start this right at the beginning.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put this down because this fucker's gonna blow away. That's so good.
Oh, so good. All right, so
I want to hear the whole thing now.
oh yeah, it's so good. I listened to it last night because I wanted to like refresh. I mean, I've listened to it every once in a while anyway, but I was just like, this fucking record is so good. I love the production. It's really raw. It's so like trashy sounding. I mean, one of the things I loved about this record the most is the production. The way it's just as raw as it is. Like it has this almost 4-track feel. Though I think I'm sure it's more like it's better produced than that. But I know that their production style was hugely influential on Airborne Radar. We kept wanting to get that drum sound because it's such like a live, just trash. Seriously, we would
It's a little
always
tinny and
reference this
slappy,
record.
like-
Yeah, it would be like, can we get the Chrome drum sound? And it's just it's just a big part of what like really drew me to this record was how they produce the records, all the different sounds that really make up like what they were as a band, because it's all part of the package to me is how they record their records.
Oh,
but I also think that Damon Edge, who played the drums, like he played he's like, you know, him and Helios both like multi-instrumentalists, but on the first few records he did all the drumming.
Yeah.
And then they did get some guys to do drums on some of the later records, but his drumming style, it's really groove. Like he actually has like some like groove to his drumming. You know, you can like almost dance to it, so it's not complete noise. You know?
Yeah. So you were saying about the drum sound and how it influenced Airborne Radar, very specifically the drums. Did you ever feel like you guys got close on any of the records?
I feel like it was always hard. It was never quite exactly the way we wanted it, and like, because some of what we wanted was like how they recorded it initially. Like we're recording in studios, and I think they recorded in studio too, but I feel like they did a lot of it themselves. So I think some of it was just that they were literally using like sort of maybe low budget equipment,
I
so it sounds like that.
I think so. I mean, because
Yeah.
so there's very little information online about this record. Nothing about their recording processes.
I would love to read about that. It's funny. I don't know. Is there any books? I've been
I don't
wanting to
know.
read about Chrome anyway, and I haven't looked it up myself.
You're
but-
more literate than I am, man. I'm sure that if you wanted to read about Chrome, you would have heard about a book.
Well, I think about it now. I'm like, there was a while where I wanted to read about them, and I haven't looked into if there's a book out there. So if anyone
Yeah.
knows about it, let me know. But I could always just look online.
Yeah, but
But-
so with that being said, I mean, I was looking for something specifically mentioning, like, what was this recording process like, and I couldn't really find anything. But just thinking about how the first two records, Visitation, Alien Soundtrack, and then it was this record, right?
Yeah.
So those were all done on their own, just self-produced. They put them
Yep.
out by themselves. So I don't think they had any label interest. And if they're just like, and plus a lot of the research that I did see was that in San Francisco, where they were based out of, there was not really much of a good, like, punk rock music scene. Like we were talking about, the next album after this, Red Exposure, was the one that kind of really put them on the map. This one is the one that put them on the map,
Yeah.
but that's Red Exposure is when they finally got moved up to a label. And so, like you were saying, you can kind of tell from that record that it sounds different.
It's different. It's a great album, but it is like a 360 turn from Half Machine Lip Moves for sure, because
Yeah.
it's actually like, there's some almost like new wave elements to it,
Right.
but also weird because it's
Oh,
Chrome
yeah.
and it's all like crazy lyrics and
Right.
all kinds of alien sex and all kinds of
A
stuff
bunch of
going
weird
on.
shit. Yeah, weird
Yeah.
crazy shit.
So no
So-
matter how like maybe normal they were trying to get on that record, they still managed to be themselves.
Yeah,
But it's
I
a
mean,
really interesting record.
and that's something that they definitely prided themselves on. You know,
Yeah,
I mean, from the stuff that
definitely.
I did read here that I'm, fiddling through. Here's a fun little fact about them. So Damon Edge sent the album to Warner Brothers. This is speaking about the Visitation. So this was their first record.
Mm-hmm.
To see if they wanted to release the album, and a Warner Brothers A&R representative told Edge that the album sounded like a messed up Doors album.
Yeah, I read that too. Man, supposedly he said that was a compliment, right? It was
Absolutely.
totally. Yeah, even more so with Damon Edge than Helios Creed, because he continued on. You can at least find more things about him, and he's been on like social media and stuff. But Damon Edge, it's like he's like really a mystery.
All right.
Like
yeah.
in a way, like I'm trying to like what was going on in his head. Because he started the band, and Helios is obviously an amazing musician, and he really turned them into an even weirder band. But it's just like what like I really would like to know more about Damon Edge, because he definitely like something was going on there.
Someone will write the book if they haven't yet.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
sure of it, but I'm sure it's all actually also like kind of like wrapped up in like his divorce. I'm sure his wife has some kind of like rights to his legacy, and then Helios obviously took over the band name. I don't know if there's any kind of like legal rift in there between them.
Yeah.
Because it's all of the like those two things, like them having shared songwriting-ship, and they say that they've had a good relationship.
Yeah. I never really got a sense of complete falling out, but then
Right.
at the same time they did split the band up. I'm not sure why it was.
Well,
but-
last I saw was that they an interview I read with Helios said that he was in discussion with Damon about possibly getting back together and reuniting and starting to get the band back together, basically.
Oh, okay.
In '95.
Oh, all right.
But
And then-
I guess it was 3 months after they spoke, according to that interview, Damon passed away, which is really gruesome. Let's just get into his death for a second.
Oh,
August
yeah,
1995. He was found dead in his Redondo Beach apartment in California. He had been lying undiscovered for about a month until a neighbor alerted the police.
Yeah, it's just like such an awful way to go. It's like this band, this
Yeah.
guy, this band that was so influential to at least all the freaks out there and all the underground and more than that. And to think that like that's how his kind of life
Yeah,
ended.
just came to a
Just like
tragic
boom.
ending of just not even being noticed
Not even noticed. Yeah.
until you started stinking up the place. Can you imagine a month
Oh
of a dead body
I mean,
just
that is
laying around in California? Fuck.
I can't even begin to think. I mean, that's so sad. That means that there was nobody that was like his friend. You think if someone was checking out in on him, they
Yeah.
would have,
Right.
known within a day or two. Like to think that. That's
Yeah.
pretty. That's pretty messed
No
up.
one saw his Facebook post, No
Yeah.
one was just like, man, he hasn't posted
Helios-
anything on Facebook in like
yeah.
a day. That's unheard of.
Yeah, exactly. And Helios wasn't, I guess, around to be checking on him either. So
Well, that's
I don't
kinda
know.
weird,
It's
too. I
like,
mean,
yeah, it's
Now that you put that into perspective, I mean, I wasn't thinking about that, but, supposedly this interview with Helios says that they were in discussions of possibly reuniting 3 months before he dies.
exactly. So you're
Oh,
like,
you know what? He fucking killed him. That's what it was.
Oh no!
Fuck. Here's another conspiracy
There we
theory.
go. Yeah, exactly. On this podcast, it'll go out.
I'm not
now.
buying their fucking records. I'm not supporting this guy. He's a fucking murderer. It's like the Kurt Cobain thing. It's like Courtney killed him.
That's it. Yeah, exactly. Oh man.
He wanted the rights. He wanted to create Cleopatra
Oh,
Records. He was
man.
like,
Oh,
what am I
this
going to
is-
do to get Cleopatra Records off the ground?
Oh.
I'll release the entire Chrome discography.
This is
Okay.
it. It's like QAnon or something. It's
Shit.
just gonna be in the.
We just stumbled onto something a little too big for our britches, Steve. All right, let's appreciate the music. Let's get into track 2. We're just gonna randomly drop this in track 2 somewhere and see where it lands.
Yeah, I mean, Helios Creed's guitar lines and stuff. So much of that, it's like I realize when I listen back, I'm like, oh my god, I've definitely subconsciously. It's like he's just been embedded in my guitar playing.
Yeah.
Him and Roland S. Howard, like Birthday Party and stuff. It's just like, it's like in there,
Not
So,
so
yeah, when
much. Not so much today, I don't think. Like listening to your new record,
Yep.
I'm
Yeah.
just like, that's
Yeah.
it's a little different than that, because like,
Mhm.
so this song we were listening to just now, which song is this called?
That's
Here's the
number
track
2. That's like the Zombie Warfare, isn't it?
Zombie Warfare,
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, I can even pull this.
Yeah,
up, so
this
I'll have it on my
definitely-
end, too.
When I heard this one, I definitely was just like, okay,
Yeah.
this is definitely Airborne Radar music. Like this is, I can definitely hear the direct correlation between the way that they started writing music and what this music was to them. But that was also different, because where we put it down, that was the same track.
Yeah.
And there's just these weird changes like within the songs, and it's like, it sounds like it could be broken up between, like it sounds like it's a break in the music.
There's no doubt that they were doing tape manipulation,
Yeah.
and like Damon Edge and Helios were definitely, there's no doubt that they were probably creating these little pieces of music and then like literally splicing part of them together to work.
Right.
Because it's, I mean, you can hear it like from like 1 minute to the next. Like sometimes things will change, and then they'll get into a groove, and then they'll play that thing for a little while,
Right.
and then it'll like, it's obvious that they were like pushing together ideas and
Yeah.
creating these like cut up like things. These
Yeah,
tape,
and I think that if you listen to the entire song, or one of the entire songs, you might notice at some points, like I can't think of what song exactly it was because I'm not familiar enough with the song track listings, like the song titles and the songs, but I know that I've heard like a repeating progression,
Yeah.
like from earlier in the record gets pulled back into like, so it's just like, that's what kind of makes you think like, oh wait, is this the same song? Because they came back to that same part,
Exactly, right? So that's why it would be just really great to know what they were thinking when they did these records, because there's so much going on. Like,
Yeah.
there's no doubt, like, this wasn't all just like an accident. This was, they knew what they were doing, and
Yeah. And I meant to say about your new album, so your guitar playing on the new album was, I feel like it's different. Like, I feel like there's a lot more, like, noisiness to it. Like this song that we were just listening to has a lot of that kind of. It sounds almost like scaly. The and you do that kind of work.
Yeah.
You do that like weird fingering
Yeah.
work on a lot of the Airborne Radar music, but a lot of the stuff for Chrome Jackson now, it seems like you do a lot more of just like this kind of shredding, repetitive strumming. It seems like I don't know what kind of finger work you're doing. I'm not sure if they're chords that you're playing or if it's more of going through effects pedals and like kind of creating a different sound out of strumming.
Yes, it's a combination. I mean, it's definitely a lot more chord stuff because I'm trying to create a more open sound, a bigger
Right.
space because of it just being me. I want to fill the space
Right.
out.
But you
So it
layer with
requires-
like a loop pedal.
and then I layer with loops and delays and stuff
Right.
like that, so it's really filling in that sound. But there's definite like chord stuff going on, and yeah, maybe there's a lot less of the chromatic or scales or I'm not doing as much scale stuff, but there's parts in the record where I definitely am, throwing in like more
little crazy finger
linear,
work.
angular kind of like notes because if once I have a loop going, I can do more melodies like that to sort of go over it. So I think it's a combination of a few of those things. I mean, it's really sometimes it's not really like I'm consciously thinking about doing that. I'm just trying to create like a whole piece. So it's not going to just be like, all right, I have to put in like this sort of scaly guitar line here. It's going to work for what the piece that I'm working on is.
Mhm.
And a lot of times because there's loops, like I am creating more like low end sounding things underneath to keep it kind of like keep the groove going or whatever you want to call it, if it's a groove or not. But
Yeah,
I'm trying to create grooves with some of this stuff. So yeah, and honestly, there's even a lot less overall guitar playing that I literally like pick up and play my guitar because a lot what I'm doing most of the time is I'm creating these loops, and sometimes like I do almost like little accents with actual guitar playing over it, where I actually physically put the guitar on and play over it.
Mhm.
A lot of times the things are happening in the loops, and I'm like playing around with the loop pedals and actually adjusting
Oh yeah.
the settings and octaves and reverse, doing all this stuff. So like I almost am playing less guitar even though everything is created from the guitar.
Mm-hmm. I get it.
Because a lot of what happens is I'll come up with an idea, and then when I stick it in the loop pedal, I start fucking with it and adjusting it. So then it's almost like I'm taking the guitar and I'm trying to like throw it through a grinder and sort of make it sound like something else.
Yeah.
So
crazy.
like a lot, even though I'm obviously still playing guitar and it's all bass from the guitar, I'm trying to almost create things that almost sound like they're not even guitar.
Yeah.
I'm like trying, but yet I'm still using like the instrument that I know the most to sort of create those sounds.
That makes sense. Yeah. That must be the way I was hearing it. Like, because I know it doesn't sound like guitar playing necessarily.
Right.
But yeah, like manipulation through effects pedals and stuff. Like, of course, that makes more sense.
I mean, it's what I have been doing a lot more of that. I mean, there's a couple songs on the record that like I don't play it. Like if you see me live, I'm not, and I know you have. Like there's some songs where I'm not playing the guitar at all. Like I'm just using the pedal. But all the stuff that I did was made with the guitar.
Right.
At least on these last couple of records, I've done some stuff with slide guitar before, and also like clarinet and stuff. But usually I'm playing the guitar. But it's just become this thing with that loop pedal. It's like kind of like my whole world is sort of in that loop pedal now.
Yeah.
And in a way, like that kind of even like leads back to these guys, because I think it's still an influence to me, like what they were doing with loops, because they were messing with loops, tape loops, and and just the cut upness of the music. I will say another thing about these guys that, and you read this, I'm sure you looked this up too, and I hadn't really realized it until recently, is that Damon Edge had gone to like Morocco when he was younger, like after college or during college, and he got into like Middle Eastern music.
Yes.
And that was like a big thing. That was a big influence on that band.
Yeah.
And so when you hear those like atonal guitar lines and all that dissonant sort of like atonal chords, atonal scales, I mean, that was influential to me.
Right.
And then I think
right.
that transferred itself into like a lot of the way I play guitar, because I love all of those sort of non-traditional, or at least Western music style scales.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
Well, I mean, because I remember when we were speaking last 2 years ago, you had mentioned that new instrument that you were
the
using,
baglama.
the baglama,
yeah.
right? So, which is a Moroccan instrument, correct?
No, it's actually it's actually a Turkish.
Turkish.
It's
Okay.
Turkish.
Similar.
Right. It's Middle Eastern,
Yeah.
but it's like, obviously there's different
Little
instruments.
differences, yeah.
But it is a sort of an instrument. Yeah, like they, some of these instruments cross.
Right.
you
And some are just
know,
even
they're
the same like way that they're played, like some of that kind of
absolutely.
the style of music is within the same realm.
Yeah, you can tell that there's some collective unconscious going on with like scales and chord, stuff like that, with different sounding instruments
Right.
and scales and stuff like that. That was and that baglama, I mean, that was why I bought that thing, because I wanted to sort of play those sounds that I've heard in other instruments.
Right. Because there's nothing else that's going to make that type of sound. Like
Right.
You need those instruments sometimes.
Definitely.
So.
And
that's cool.
I think like subconsciously or even consciously, I've tried to make things sound like that with a regular guitar before I bought one of those.
And you just couldn't really do it. Couldn't crack the code, right?
Yeah, but that's all right. I mean, it's
Yeah.
I'm just doing my own version of that.
I just don't think it's possible. Like I mean, I just
you're
think
not-
that
yeah.
there's some certain instruments. It's like that's the only thing you can use that makes that type of
know.
sound. I mean,
Which makes it an expensive hobby. Then I want to just buy all the.
of course. Yeah,
But I do play that on the new record too, on one track.
I know.
I mean,
I did notice.
You
that.
noticed it, yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm like throwing that in there now on every record.
Yeah. No, it's
fun.
great, man.
It's a fun instrument to play.
So I'm going to try to get into
Yeah.
the third track. Let me see if I can.
Now this song, this next one, he does say the titles on some of the other ones, but on this one he specifically sings a chorus of the Cold Clammy Bombing,
Oh, okay.
and that's like in the name of the title actually.
Cold clammy bombing, a cold clammy bombing, a cold clammy bombing will ruin your town. Don't say this all you, laughing up the fuse. Well, last the fucking boss will get
Says-
some news.
I don't care what you say, I'm not afraid of the Russians. That was just such a funny line.
Yeah. He, Damon and Helios both took
both sang.
took kind of turns writing lyrics for some of the songs.
And singing too,
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm not actually. I don't even know who did which ones.
I'm not
for
sure
what
who's
songs.
singing, and I don't know who's singing on that song. That might be Damon Edge. I can't be sure, but
Me
I think,
neither.
yeah,
Someone can tell us.
yeah, I know. Yeah,
Some
there's
more
gonna be like
knowledgeable person.
Yeah, there's gonna be some more Chrome nerds out there.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm interested. I'm totally into this band. I mean, like, it's weird because putting on just the portions of the songs, it almost doesn't do it service because it sounds so cool. Like, I really love the way this is sounding way more than what I've been listening to on the earbuds. But I know where the songs go.
Yeah.
So I'm like, this is almost like a tease to be like, oh, you can expect this fucking record to rip your fucking head off. But it's not, actually. It's kind of, it's out there. It gets spacey and it gets weird and psychedelic and like, so if anyone out there is exploring this record, do not expect it to just be a record that sounds a lot like Arab on Radar and Six Finger Satellite, because the portions that we've played so far are definitely those. Those are the ones that seem to be the most likely, like the through line,
But there are like pieces, like again, like when I was listening back yesterday, there's this song. I think it's well, there's a couple of them on the second side. I mean, I know we haven't gotten there yet, but where like the guitar, some of the things he's doing on the guitar are so I mean, they were so influential to me. Just like these very strange scales and like melodies that there's no doubt that like the first time I heard them, I was like, oh my God, I need to do this kind of music.
Yeah.
And it I don't know, but like you said, since we can't hear the whole album, you really do have to listen to it all the way through and like just freak out.
Just let it fucking mess with you for a little while and just try to digest it, because I don't think I know it yet. I mean, I've listened to it a few times now, and I'm just like, I still don't even know where these tracks begin and end.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
I still feel that way. I mean, when every time I listen to it, I feel like I'm still hearing things in it. Like,
yeah.
It's just.
So let's talk about that for a little bit, because I'm actually curious. So you were saying how, intro to music, when you're growing up as a teenager, you were mostly just into the classic rock stuff, the Led Zeppelin, the heavy metal, I'm assuming Judas Priest, stuff like that.
Absolutely.
So 2021 is when you're finally getting exposed to Chrome and the Birthday Party and other bands that are within that realm, I think. 91.
1991? Yeah.
Okay, that makes
2021. I was like, oh.
No, when you were 20 or 21.
Oh, when I was 20, 21. I'm sorry.
You were 20 or
21.
91, you were 21. 91, I was 11.
Yeah, oh my God. Yeah. Oof, I am
not
old.
that big of a deal.
No.
Hey, you still have all your hair. No big deal.
Yeah, that is when I started hearing them.
Yeah.
It was 90. I don't remember exactly, but I had to believe it was 91. It was then 90 or 91.
Okay, because Airborne Radio started in 92? Is that when you guys started?
No, we started in 95, 94.
Oh, okay.
94, 95.
Oh, much later.
We actually started in 94. That was like when we were Umbrella. We were called Umbrella. Yeah. And then by 95, we were Arabon Radar.
So when did you start playing guitar?
Personally, when I started playing? Oh, when I was 13.
Oh, okay. So when you were starting to learn how to play, what were you playing? Were you copying the Jimmy Page licks, or you?
Yes, absolutely. And metal too, because even though I was into like Zeppelin and like Hendrix and stuff like that, I remember some of the things that I was really trying to learn was like more just straight up metal stuff, like Metallica and all that stuff, and learning, but also trying to learn Zeppelin too and Hendrix. I mean, obviously, I loved Hendrix and Zeppelin. I mean, Jimmy Page and Hendrix are also obviously huge influences. I mean, whatever. I don't know how many.
What kind of guitar player isn't influenced by
I know,
Jimmy Page
it's like so cliche
to a degree.
But I actually think of Jimmy Page in a lot of ways, and Hendrix. I should say both of them. But Jimmy Page, like even his, he was doing some really strange things on the guitar too, and like that was definitely influential. I mean, and so in a way that would be like an early sort of memory of like hearing somebody that did something kind of strange and unique with the guitar. He'd do his like usual blues stuff, but then he would go off and do the Kashmir and all the no quarter kind of things and stuff like that, and it was like very different. Sort of again he's obviously another one who was influenced by Middle Eastern music, and same with Hendrix, same with where they started throwing those elements in there that I just loved. I've always just been
George Harrison, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
The sitar and stuff like that. Yeah,
totally. I mean, and there's so many of them out there that were influenced by that type of guitar playing, or that type of those types of scales. But yeah, when I started when I was 13, 14, I was learning just all the rock stuff that was going on at the time.
Yeah. So did you so you started was Arabon Radio the first band, or were you in other bands before Arabon Radio started?
I was in one other band before Arabon Radar.
And when was that?
That was like, it was probably 92, 93. I'm not sure if you remember them, but I was in the band Pollinate.
No.
They were so that band was this guy Mike Moore. That his name is Michael Moore is actually not the filmmaker.
No, of course.
But they were a band that was around in Providence in the early 90s. They were doing kind of more of the sort of indie, soft, loud kind of stuff. But I was playing guitar. Like, we kind of started the band together. And Andrea played bass, who played in Arabon Radar.
Oh, okay. Cool.
And then, like, they kind of went off in a different... it was kind of like they wanted to move more into that sort of indie rock style. And I think they knew that that wasn't really my bag as much. Andrea had left the band before I did, and then they kind of, kicked me out. I mean, they were nice guys. I mean, I've seen them years later, but it was obvious we were going in two different directions.
Yeah.
But we did play like one or two we played one loft show, and we even did a radio thing. We did URI radio at the RIU. So I was in that band, and then I wasn't in that band anymore, and then I started. Maybe it was like a year later or whatever. That's when I met Eric.
So the band Pollinate and what you were doing with them, nothing like Arabon Radar.
No, but
so what
I did write a couple songs with Pollinate. One of them ended up becoming a song that we did in Umbrella.
Okay.
Because it was not ironically, but Eric was like, "There's this one song I remember hearing you guys do it. I thought it was really cool," and so there was this song that we did that he liked, and then I brought the riff over, and Eric and I, we like reworked the song and actually made it into an Umbrella song.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah, so that was kind of fun. It was cool that he knew that because he had heard us practicing. We were in the same building.
Oh, all right.
Before we even like knew each other or something like that. And it was just really funny because he picked up on that one song. He's like, "Man, I do really like that song. We should try to do that song." And I was like, "All right, that's kind of
right." So how did you feel going into Arabon Radar, going into Umbrella? Like, because were they already starting, or were you one of the founding members?
Oh, no, we started the band together.
But all four
Eric,
of you?
Yeah, well, it started with Eric and I.
Okay. And then Craig came in, I presume.
Yeah, but Craig came in... I mean, it's weird because Craig is he is Arabon Radar, right?
Right.
But he wasn't playing with us when we first started. Like, Umbrella was Eric and I, and then we got Jeff. We had Eric had answered an ad and found Jeff, and so then the three of us started it up, and then I got Andrea to come on board to play with us, and then we ended up with this revolving cast of drummers.
Okay.
In Umbrella.
Oh.
And then when we finally landed John Von Ryan, Jay Ryan's brother, who played at Von Ryan's Express, and he became our drummer. And then I will say it was actually because of John that we changed the name. John was like, "I'm in the band now. I want to change the name."
He wanted to change it to Arabon Radar?
Well, he wanted to change the name of the band.
Okay.
When he came in, I think he kind of like
then
wanted to be like, "I'm in the band now. I want us to be another name." And so,
right.
Like I guess he was maybe thinking, I don't want to feel like I'm like being a member joining this band.
Right.
But it was a good thing because then we came up with the name Arabon Radar, and then John played with us for a little while, and then he left, and then Craig came in. And Craig had been friends with Eric for years.
Right. Yeah.
So that's kind of how that started. So it actually, that all happened within a span of like, jeez, it almost seems like maybe a year or so that all those changes happened.
Yeah, yeah.
Because we played shows as Umbrella too. We did a few shows. We even did some
put out that
recording.
cassette, right? You guys put out one cassette.
As Umbrella, no. As Umbrella, we just put out a song on a CD.
Oh, okay.
It was on that JJ's compilation. It was
Over the Counter
Records. It was that lots of good people on it. It had
I bet.
Von Ryan's Express. It had Drop Dead. It had Small Factory. All these Providence bands. I still have the CD somewhere. We had a song on that. And we never put out the tape. Was the Arabon Radar tape. That was
okay.
That was when we were Arabon Radar, and that was our demo tape that we used to sell at shows.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's weird to think of Craig not being like in the band from the start, but he kind of always was. It's like he was always a friend. It's like he's just like he was there looming.
He was waiting for his moment. He was just like, when are you gonna get rid of this fucker?
Yeah, I know.
Where's this guy going? I'm taking over.
But I mean, it's always funny to think of Craig not being there from the beginning, because it's like it's obvious, like no one knew us really before Craig was in the, so it's like.
Right. One more question before we continue on with the next song. So you start working with Eric. So Pollinate was not like Arab Radar. So where, like, did you notice that, like, your the way that you wanted to try to start writing was morphing into something that needed to be in a different project? You couldn't be part of Pollinate?
Oh yeah. I mean, if you ever saw us play, there were like the songs that I wrote, and then there was the songs that like the singer wrote, and they were so different.
Yeah.
So we were two different bands in the same band, and it was. I mean, we had similar music interests. That was the reason I was playing with them. We both like bands like Six Finger Satellite and stuff like that. It's kind of what got us together, but they wanted to go into more of that
hook laden,
or in that swirly kind of early 90s sort of sound, with the soft loud bands and like Swerve Driver and like My Bloody Valentine and stuff, which is good stuff.
Sure.
I mean, I love My Bloody Valentine stuff. Not that they were like My Bloody Valentine. I would say it was more poppy than that, but it was like they were kind of going in more of that a poppier indie rock, and I definitely didn't want to do that at the time. So in a way, it was a blessing that they kicked me out. It's almost like they knew that I wasn't going to be really into that.
Yeah, well, that's a mature thing to do. To be like, it's like, you're not digging this either, man. Like,
it wasn't. Yeah, it wouldn't have worked, because then I wouldn't have wanted to go in that direction. Right. So I could see myself leaving, and that's probably why Andrea left before I did. She was she didn't really want to do that either. I mean, nothing against that stuff. It's just
wasn't for you, man.
Yeah, I mean, you can see the difference from like going from that.
And you have you had such a bigger calling. No, I'm serious. Like to create a really different style of music. I mean, like, I would venture to say that 20 years down the road from now, Arab on Radar will be looked back at as like this weird, obscure rock band, kind of like Chrome, where they'd be like, man, no one, like, I never got to see them, like these fucking 15-year-olds 20 years from now. They're not even born right now. And, and they hear those records, and they're just like, what the fuck? And then they go to YouTube, and then they see you guys play, and they're just like, what the fuck were they doing? Yeah. Like, what is this?
Yeah, and I could say that we probably had a similar sort of financial and record label thing, because it was like we were always on some different label. Small little labels, yep. And luckily they're keeping some of our stuff in stock, but some of those records, I mean, it's like our first couple of records, like, you're not going to get those on vinyl anymore.
If you do, you know how much those are going for?
Yeah, I do know. Yeah, I have looked it up.
It's like, I've been broke a couple times.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah, I sold a couple extra copies that I had.
Right.
So, but yeah, definitely.
And I saw Eric buying stuff back. And he said he was missing something. He actually bought it.
Yes, he did. Totally. Yeah, that's so funny that he told you that. Yeah, it was so. I felt funny about it. I was like, "Come on, man! I don't want to sell this to you. I feel bad about this." And it's so funny to think. It's such a funny thing too, because I've had it. Like, I don't even have my first 7-inch from Chrome Jackson anymore. I'm gonna have to buy it. I don't know where it went. But it's such a funny thing to think of buying your own record. But like, it's like, and then I just thought it was funny that Eric bought it from me too. It just seemed like I was like, no, I can just give, He was like, no, I want to buy it.
Right.
So it was.
Well, you gotta stop giving stuff away, dude. I mean, Eric's been very generous, and he's been very cool. He's been giving me a bunch of stuff. I mean, reissues and stuff like that. I mean, nothing original, but but yeah, stop giving it away, and then you'll have more copies.
I know. I don't know. I think we're probably both of that like mindset that we're like, we want people to hear it.
Yeah, of course.
However they can do it, but
yeah, man.
But yeah,
I can imagine. I can only imagine. All right, let's get into a little bit more freak show over here.
Oh,
the freak rock show going on. I think this is track 4. I can't believe we actually are only on track 4 right now.
I know. It is crazy.
That might hit a little
It's
late.
not even that long of a record.
I got it at like 2, man. No, amazing, amazing stuff. This is a short track too. So according to what the grooves are telling me in the record, this is a fairly short song.
Yeah.
I'd be curious to know where it begins and ends.
I know. I think that one actually might start off. I think that song actually starts off with an actual starting point. It has a, believe it or not, that's one of the more straightforward ones in a way. It has this I love that song. It has a, what do you call it? It's not a xylophone or a marimba, but it has this like
This song?
Yeah, it has this really cool sounding
Is this
hear that? Can't hear it as well there. Oh, the song's ending now. It's early in the song. You'll hear it. It has this sort of it might be, it could be a synth or something, but it sounds more like a marimba or a xylophone. It's like it's really cool. Whatever, listen to it on your own time.
I'll
you'll hear
try.
it. But it's it starts off with that and this guitar line. So I know that song "You've Been Duplicated" does start off kind of like a normal song, I guess, in a way.
Kinda like
At
that-
least I think it does.
Kind of like that same riff, but just kind of goes right into it.
It goes right into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds about right. Oh, the bands I was thinking of before, Throbbing Gristle and The Residents, as far as like other bands that were kind of contemporaries of Chrome.
Yes. The Resonance, that's totally true, and it's because they were from there. But Throbbing Gristle is not from.
I don't know if they're
San Francisco.
from.
They're from England.
Right. Weird, but they're still.
But the Residents, I think, are from
San Francisco.
Yep. area, so that makes sense. There was also that label that they were on. The Residents were on. Oh, what is it?
Oh, fuck.
Man's Ruin? No, is it? There's another band, MX80, too.
Yes.
MX80.
Yes, I
so
saw them in here, too.
they're also of that period.
That
and
ilk of like the psychedelic kind of
Yep.
like new wavy, no wavy, noise rock stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't remember why we were mentioning. I was trying to think of the band names earlier.
Yeah.
and
But
now-
definitely the Residents for sure. Although, yeah, it's like, and the Residents would be so similar too in the sort of way that they were, their whole like the artwork and their whole vibe and
their whole
the
gimmick thing, just like the
yeah.
complete anonymity, like
Yep.
no band members, no distinguishable band members.
Yeah,
like,
especially them. No one knows who they are.
yeah, and it's still to this day, it's like decades later,
Still
no
don't
one knows who
know.
the fuck they are.
It's fascinating. It's kind of
Yeah.
incredible. I want to find out that it's like it'll be like some famous politician or something
Oh
that
my
you like, and
God.
they like had all this time they've like had this like secret identity.
That would be so weird. What if they're part of the like Illuminati? What
Yeah.
if they're like fucking lizard people?
Yeah.
They are the lizard
They
people,
are the
and they
lizard
make the
people.
fucking crazy music, of course.
That's what it is. It's got to be it.
Whoa, man, we are like tapping some major conspiracy
We
theories
find
right now.
yeah, we figured out Helios Creed killed Damon Edge.
Yeah.
Now we've got the Residents or
Fuck, what else are we
with
gonna come up
people.
with? This is
Yeah.
fucking amazing, man. All right, so here's a quote from that interview with Helios Creed. He was talking with an interviewer asking, I think he asked him about, what is it like having like fans and like being considered influential at this point. So they all ripped off Chrome in one way or another, but it doesn't bother me. The only thing that was a bit fucked up is that they made it big, but none of them ever let us open for them. This is him in regards to Ministry, I guess.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And I mean, he actually also has another. The story goes on to like include how he didn't have a good relationship with Hawkwind. Like he begged to be on a bill with them.
Oh.
And they actually told him to fuck off.
Wow.
They did play ultimately, and he says that they were better now and they're in better standing. But at the time, it was not great.
You know, that band Prong did a cover of a Chrome song too.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
So, you know, there was definitely bands, you know, that were out there that were
Right.
getting bigger than they were for sure. I mean, yeah, it's exactly it. It's like they're just another one of those bands that just didn't get the...
Yeah. Well, so did you ever have a circumstance where you like admired a band that you could be playing with or wanted to play with, and either did get the opportunity and it ended up fucked up, or did you just never get the opportunity?
Oh. You got me thinking about this now.
That's
Well, we really admired Lydia Lunch. I really liked her, and she started coming back around years later. Like, she's plays with Weasel Walter and my friend Tim, and they like revived like her like sort of, you know, Teenage Jesus, like sort of a version of that.
Yeah.
With the drummer from the original drummer from Sonic Youth.
Oh, okay.
But we got to play some shows with her and a Doomsday Student, and that was cool. She's cool.
Yeah.
She's crazy.
Yeah.
She's cool. As I got to meet her and hang out. I remember being like, you know, into Teenage Jesus and the Jerks and just Lydia Lunch stuff. And just crazy to think of meeting her and playing with her.
Yeah.
So that was neat.
Turned out cool.
Yeah. I mean, I can't think of like big bands or anything that we got close to being. I remember we wanted to play a show with the Melvins once and it didn't happen. It fell through.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the Melvins a lot, but they're not like my favorite band, but they are obviously really cool band.
Yeah, and if you get the opportunity, I mean,
Yeah.
you fucking take it.
I feel like I'm missing something. Oh, no. Well, we played with Shellac.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
When was that?
Well, that's huge.
Yeah.
We played with them in at Princeton. Down at, you know, we played an outdoor show in Princeton, New Jersey.
Okay.
You know, at Princeton.
Yeah.
That was great. So, got to play with them.
What year was that, though?
That was probably 2000, 2001.
Oh, okay.
It was like
Kinda
it was
near the end,
after
I guess.
Andrea left, so it was that era. It was like the Smoke
2001.
the Saddle era when we were baseless. You
Right.
know. So we did get to play it. So that was good. That was great.
Cool.
They were, yeah. I mean, you could say they were idols, but also we had recorded with Bob Weston on our first record. He did our.
You did? The first
Yeah.
record?
And yep.
Okay.
He recorded that record. Now we were lucky because Andrea knew him.
Oh,
And that
okay.
was kind of how that all came together. But yeah, obviously loved Shellac, loved Big Black and all that stuff. So that was cool
Yeah.
to be able to play with, even though I never met Albini. So it's too bad. But,
You never met him?
No.
Even though you played that bill?
Yeah, we didn't I didn't talk to him.
Oh, okay.
You know, I mean, I've you know, even when they came that last time, they played at the Met a few years back.
Oh, okay.
Alicia
That's
and I
right.
went to that show, and we talked to Bob, but I didn't talk to Steve.
He's an elusive guy.
He is, yeah. He's a little more. Maybe I was intimidated. I don't know. I just haven't actually talked with him.
I'm sure he can be intimidating too.
I know, right? Yeah, like knowing how he is, and you know his writing and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, a lot of my friends have recorded with him and played. You know, so
By default, you guys should kind of.
I know.
Get to know each other.
You know, we always wanted to record with, like, actually have him record us. That would
Yeah.
be great. But it is funny that I never met him. I would like to meet him. And,
So,
you know, talk
yeah.
about another guy that obviously, you know, you listen to him, he's obviously into Chrome and bands like that, too.
Yeah.
you know,
I would
so-
love to know what his catalog looks like.
Oh, God. Yeah.
I just
That's
want to
crazy.
see it. I mean, it's like the way that he probably cares for his shit and the amount of like bands and stuff like
Yeah.
that he likes, not even alone like who he's worked with.
Yeah.
It's like
definitely.
cool, man.
I
Yeah.
remember, I may have even mentioned this last time I was on the podcast. I don't know. But I remember we stayed at Bob Weston's house in Chicago one time.
No, you didn't mention that.
Oh.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that was great. I mean, like I said, we were like kind of not buddies, but we were a little.
Steve just
more
doesn't
friendly.
show up at Bob Weston's
I
house.
know, right? What the hell, man?
It's like, oh, you guys are hanging out tonight? Okay, I'll come by.
But Bob had one of those like $500 record cleaning machines.
Oh, yeah.
the vacuum ones.
Right. Yep.
And I remember just being like, "Oh, I want one of those."
One day, baby.
So if you have a thing like that, you're caring for your records.
You're right.
I'm sure Albini has one too.
Yeah.
So
Of course he does. Let's get into
Along
the
with
side
his-
2, man.
yeah.
Flipped it. A lot of tracks on this side.
This one, the first song is actually Half Machine Lip Moves, the name of the
okay.
song, and I love the way this song starts out. It's so mean.
Let's hear it.
That's such a cool sounding intro with that guitar line, with the echo and everything. It's so
yeah,
good.
the way that
so
just came in
badass.
like that, it was just like that weird snap
Yeah.
to like silence for like it's just a second break, and then they come in. Boom, dun, 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 dun,
Yeah.
dun, 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 dun. Awesome.
It's so brilliant. I fucking think these guys they're just air candy to me. It's so good.
Yeah, man.
And it's so crazy.
And I gotta be completely honest with you. I'm really loving the way that it sounds on vinyl.
Oh, on vinyl, yeah.
I don't, I'm not a purist in any way or shape or form, but considering I've been listening to this on earbuds,
Yeah.
I'm like, this is just such a much better way to do it. Like to really hear like what's going on in these songs.
Mhm.
Like, I mean, you really got to isolate yourself and just kind of put the headphones on, and yeah, it's crazy
Yeah,
stuff.
that's mostly how I've listened to Chrome my whole life is on vinyl, and even the tape that I had, obviously it was recorded from the vinyl, but
Mhm.
but that's what I was used to listening to them. It seems like the only way to listen to them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I mean, obviously in a pinch you got to listen to them digitally, whatever. But
yeah, I mean, I like to explore. I like to try to listen to bands that I haven't heard before, that I know like I've heard of, and try to give it a go, see what I feel of it, and then if it really grabs me, then I'll grab the record, sure.
you may have to get the Cleopatra reissue.
Yeah. Do you have any of the reissues?
I do. I have. Yeah, because I didn't own Blood on the Moon. That's what I could never find. I do own an original copy of Third from the Sun, but Blood on the Moon I got the Cleopatra reissue of that.
So what do you think of the quality? I mean, do you think that
It's nice.
the reissues are doing good?
I mean, the copy I have is really nice. I like it. It looks like I think what maybe the original would have looked like.
Yeah.
Has like an insert and everything. And
Do you think, because like, I'm listening to this now, and you're telling me that this is an original, so obviously this is from '79. I have not listened to the new reissues, but with what I do, the record business, I do hear a lot of old records, popular records too, like popular titles, things that we know, and I'll sometimes hear a later reissue of that record, and the newer it gets, I think the weirder it sounds. Like, not weird like in a bad way, but just like you can hear the modern technology used in it, I think.
yeah.
And I guess that's why there's some people that freak out about first pressings, because they're like, well, that's the original stereo recording that they first did. I mean, and like depending on the history of the record, they could be possible remasterings or remixings that have happened down the line, and now when they reshoot again for the third or fourth time, whatever it is, even though it's going to be vinyl, it still has a weird newer production quality to it.
Right, because they may not have done the remaster from the original tapes and stuff like
Right,
that,
right.
or
I guess
yeah,
so, yeah.
I mean, you're absolutely right. And there's for sure like reissues of vinyl that were shitty, I mean,
Yeah.
like read reviews on online about like, I don't buy this copy, it sucks,
Yeah.
But I've definitely been I'm one of the people that have bought like new copies of old records just because it was easier and cheaper to buy. I mean, weirdly cheaper, even though it's $20 to buy, say, like a brand new version of like Diamond Dogs, on vinyl,
Right.
because they're available like new issues. But
Mhm.
to find like an old copy, sometimes you end up paying, and then you have to worry, is it going to be in good condition?
Right.
I mean, I definitely do that too. I mean, if I can't find it, reissued, I will go to Discogs and all those places and look for records.
Yeah,
and I mean, I've actually lucked out. I mean, most people are taking care of this stuff, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
But
well, you just have to care about it before it goes out. I mean, like if you're going to list it, you have to take on the responsibility of knowing, okay, this is a good record, plays well, looks good, or at least like let everyone know, grade it properly, let them know what exactly you have. You know, I try to do that. It takes a lot of fucking time. It really does.
Yeah.
Like listening to everything and like looking at it and like visually grading it.
Yeah, I mean,
and then writing about it online, like fucking like typing in the description and shit. I'm just like, dude, I have been written books already.
You must spend a lot of time on that, because I've sold a lot of records
it.
on eBay, and I've done all the things you need to do to try to sell it. Put a bunch of images, try to write something. But it takes a lot of time, and I've only done it. I only do it occasionally.
I can't wait to have a store.
Oh yeah,
I'm considering it.
Are you?
I'm considering it. Yeah,
that would be great.
I
mean,
I've just been
talking
talking
pre-world, I guess. Post, maybe post-COVID world.
Yeah, well, even still, because I'd still do stuff online, so it doesn't really matter if people walk.
Oh
in the
yeah,
store
sure. Like all those guys are doing it, like Analog and and Armageddon and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, like you can't eliminate possibility to make sales if you're that especially that business that like I don't know how they fucking do it. It drives me nuts. Like I've talked to Dave about it before from Analog and asked him, it's like, dude, like I didn't ask him what his rent was, but I'm just like, how can you fucking sell records and then make enough to pay the rent here and then live? Like I don't get it. Like
I have not asked him about that either. I don't know what he does, but I know he sells stuff online too.
Yeah. I mean, you don't cut anything out. You don't limit yourself.
Probably needs that. I mean, that might actually be a big part of it, right? It's like you got the store, but you're probably selling a lot of stuff online.
Yeah. I mean, I put in 8-hour days, dude.
Oh my
God.
God.
When I have days off, I'm just like home all day, just like working on records, just like finding out, researching them, like how old is this one? When is this from? Where is it from? And then listening to it and cleaning it if need be, like. Fucking fuck.
I love it though, because like I thought I was I mean, I realize when I talk to someone like you and I'm like I'm not even as obsessed as I thought I was. Well, and I am. I have a lot of records, but you have the
I was never obsessed about my own collection though. See, that's the thing.
Oh,
see, so I'm what I like to call right now a foster parent. Okay, I foster records.
Yeah.
I just grab them, I get them from wherever I can get them, and I enjoy doing it. I enjoy going through them, just kind of like, it's kind of like taking some abandoned thing and just like fixing it up. Okay, hey man, I gotta fix you up. You got a nasty split or something, or you got some shitty inner sleeve. I'll put a new one in there.
Yeah.
I'll dust you off because you're just fucking full of dust or whatever, like dirt, some shit. You find something in a basement somewhere.
Definitely.
I clean it up and it's like, oh no, you don't sound good. No, okay, sorry, you can't find it. You can stay in my home. I'll keep you
the stepchild.
Reluctantly. That's horrible. But the rest of them that are great, that are still good, I'm just like, go off to another home. There you go.
Yeah, I mean, I only have the collection that I have my own, but I did obsessively spend. I asked for a record cleaner for Christmas, not like an expensive one, just one of those plastic ones that you just turn manually.
Oh, okay.
And Alicia was laughing at me because it's like I spent like all winter. I literally cleaned all of my records.
Oh yeah. Nice.
Yeah, and I used that thing, and I just was doing them like one at a time. It looks like I was driving the house because it's like I'm like it looks like you're driving because you're turning the record.
Yeah, right. I always wondered about those because I'm just like, it's going through a liquid bath.
It is. That's exactly it. Yeah, you put the distilled water, and then
it's got a clamp that holds it by the label, right? So it just clamps down on the label.
It's these two brushes that are
okay.
The two. All right. It's basically just that plastic, weird shaped plastic thing that sort of has these like curvature. It's got the bath in the middle, and then the two brushes. There's two that slide out.
Okay.
And you can replace those brushes, and you but you put the brushes in,
right?
And then you pour the drops over the brushes.
Oh, okay.
You don't put it in the distilled, but you have to use distilled water.
Oh,
And then you pour the drops. They give you like a one capful. They say is good for like a certain amount of records. And you pour it on the brushes, and then you just start. And then I think you can go. I don't know if it's 100 records you can do on that one thing.
Really?
Something like that. And then they say to change it because you can notice
Oh,
it
okay.
starts to turn
Yeah.
the water.
Yeah.
But I think you can do up to 100 on one little capful. I bought like a huge bottle of it now. But now I haven't really needed to clean them because I already cleaned them.
Yeah.
But
Do you hear a difference, like from when you?
with some, definitely.
Yeah.
For sure. There were records I hadn't cleaned in a while, and there were records that were my dad's that I hadn't really cleaned.
Oh, okay.
And so once I put them through, there was a big difference.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's great.
But yeah.
I've been on the fence about it, so I'm like, okay, yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
if they
no.
work well, I guess I'll try one. I'll go pick them up.
I also started doing this thing, and this isn't as it's not like genuine. It's not going to be as like, oh, you're keeping the record original. But I figured out how to fix like broken spine records.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I looked it up on YouTube. This guy just like, I did it. You cut like pieces of if you get like you can use like one of those nice inserts from a record that are like harder.
Oh yeah.
And if you cut them and then you fold them into this little strip so
Right.
that it is like a V shape, and you just cut a little strip of it. You just you put like a
Okay,
not wood glue, but like a type of glue.
Okay.
And then you just press them together and you clamp it down, and it works.
Hmm.
Because you have the part that's not glued that's still
Right.
able to fit the record through. I did that with a bunch of record sleeve covers that I have that were all messed up.
Oh.
So it's not going to have the original like piece of record cover
Right,
cardboard in there, but it fixes them.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've
It was
actually
a little messy, but it worked.
Yeah. I use hinging tape sometimes.
Oh yes.
Because
Of course.
I equally, I searched online too on YouTube, and I found this guy that said he used hinging tape. So, kind of the same principle. You just kind of cut off the length that you need to
Yeah.
like fit, like to split a seam that is like at the mouth,
Yeah.
So it just kind of is like starting to open up.
Mm-hmm.
So you just do it there, just determine the length of the split,
Mm-hmm.
and then you just fold it in half, and then you just kind of slide it in, and like it's a little difficult to do though, because you have to like, after you get the measurement and you kind of figure out where it needs to be, like you have to wet it, and then as it gets wet it kind of bends a little bit, so I'm
Oh,
like,
God.
oh, now you gotta, and then it
Yeah.
gets stuck to the cardboard as you're slipping it into the
Well, that's exactly what happens with the method that I do, is
Yeah.
because the glue, sometimes you can't get it in there without getting the glue all over your
Right.
hands, and then you're trying to like not get it on the
what I've
record
been
cover, so-
trying, depending on the length of the split, and how long I'm working
Yeah.
with, like I have this metal ruler, so I just kind of like put it along the edge of the ruler, and I'll even like mold it to the edge of the ruler,
Yeah.
and then that way, like as soon as I can wet it and just like slip it into the
Yeah,
jacket, and hopefully have it land right where it needs to be.
Yeah, it becomes like this. I mean, once you start doing it, you get fine tuning it and like get it, and then you end up done. Then you
Yeah.
don't have any of those records to do, and you finally figured out how to do it without
Right.
making a mess.
Yeah,
But
so
yeah,
there's no
that-
good way to do it, I guess.
But that's another labor of love thing, with the vinyl, and I have to say, it's kind of fun in a way. I don't know.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Fix them up.
Hey, we're losing our light.
Oh yeah.
Let's.
Yeah, we haven't even finished the record yet.
That's okay, because I haven't been finishing them lately.
Oh,
As
yep.
long as I can get a few songs in
Yeah.
here. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to skip over to the third track.
Yeah.
Turned around.
Yeah.
Sound like German.
Song. Yeah, I know, right?
That's a great song.
It is a really great song. These songs have again, they do like the noisy thing. They have all those sort of disjointed stuff, and then they have these grooves that they throw in there, and it's
Right.
fucking awesome.
Very cool,
I
man.
think that's what makes it so good.
So another fact about the record, just to throw it out there, Wired magazine listed it in its top 100 albums that set the world on fire while no one was listening.
Yep, that sums it up. I'm
That's-
glad that they were in there, though.
Yeah.
That's awesome because it means that, at least nowadays, I mean, they're getting some of the... I would say they're getting some of the credit that they deserve.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately because of the pandemic, there's no shows going on, but I imagine they're still touring, or we're still touring up until recently.
I mean, I don't know if you had looked this up, but I saw that, I mean, as recent as 2018,
Right.
Helios was doing, like, I think they put out, I mean, I say Helios because it's him. It's just him now.
Right.
But they're still going as Chrome, and I think they put a record out.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, I haven't heard it. I didn't listen to it.
Haven't heard it. I did see Helios play. I did see, and it was Chrome. So I always have to remember. I saw him play up in Boston, and now this kind of shows you how well, like it was still discouraging. There was like 40 people there,
Yeah.
and this was in maybe like 2009.
Okay.
But it was great to see him just because it was awesome. I mean, he's this tall, lanky guy.
Right.
And they sounded great. I mean, they did some Chrome songs, and it was great just because he's a legend to see him, but it wasn't like packed.
Right.
It wasn't
That's
packed in there.
amazing.
But that was like maybe around this time he started going as Chrome again.
Right. Reviving the band. Cool, man. So, I'm going to put on another song.
Yeah.
Figure out where to go after that.
I mean,
I can tell
yeah,
it's
if you
'cause
hear
you-
that, then I'm like, I will not, I'd be lying if I didn't say, like, when I hear that guitar line, the way that the sound of his guitar,
Mm-hmm.
the guitar line itself, it's like, I definitely, it's been embedded in my
Yeah.
head that, like, with the kind of thing he's playing there.
Yeah.
That sort of atonal scale melody, and
Great.
just everything about it, the drum beat. It's like, it's very,
You can say
like,
you took it.
Yeah,
you
we
lifted
took
it.
It's very Arab. It's very Arab on radar. Like,
For sure,
even
man.
his voice. I mean, you could. I mean, Eric has a different voice in him, but there's a little bit of that in there.
Mm. So I was going to ask you, with the whole pandemic thing happening, what are you doing with your musical time now? Because this record's out. You recorded this during this time, right? During the pandemic, or
it was over. I recorded and I was done before the pandemic. Well, I mean, as we know, the pandemic goes. I mean, the virus goes back to like December or November. So I guess you could say I was recording it around that time, but
Yeah.
of course it hadn't hit here yet.
Yeah.
But I finished all of that, and I finished the mastering and everything. But the tape release, the production, that all is going on during the pandemic.
Oh,
And
okay.
Dan Boucher, who put the tape out with Wrong Hole
Right.
record, archival bureau,
Mm-hmm.
he we were having these back and forths because it was crazy, like when this happened, and he was like, yeah, I got it to the plant, but I don't know when it's gonna, and it got delayed at one point, but it still ended up coming out, but it was delayed like another month or so. So everything was done before that happened, but then when it went into production, it was, but with that, it's been hard I sold a few when it came out, but
Mhm.
without being able to do any shows and all that
right.
stuff, I mean, I'm still trying to get them out there.
I hear you. So yeah, no shows as of right now, but so the tape, it was released when exactly? It was like 2 months ago or a month ago?
No, more than that now. Oh, when did it come out? Jeez, forgetting now. It may have been June.
Okay.
I believe.
Yeah.
Well,
and so you have the cassette tape, so those are still available.
Yep.
You can get them through your Bandcamp site.
Yep.
Or so you were telling me about Daniel Bouchard, you said? Who's the
Boucher,
guy?
Dan
Boucher, I'm
Boucher.
sorry.
He runs the tape label.
Yeah.
Wrong Hole Archival Bureau. He's also a great guy. I feel like he's a super great guy. You should talk to him. He
Sure.
was in the band Neptune from Boston.
Yeah, I gotta
And
look into
he's doing, he's doing a couple like his own noise projects, sound projects, Golden Shores, and
Okay.
but he's also playing now with Alec Redfern.
that. Oh, really?
And they, ironically, they did just play a show on
Zoom?
streaming.
Okay.
It was they're called Say You Love Satan, and it's Dan and
Oh,
Alec and this woman who sings with them that I don't know, but it was really good. But he put the tape out. He had asked me about putting the tape out, and I
Awesome.
thought that would be fun to do. And
Yeah.
so yeah, I'm trying to figure out what I want to do in terms of shows. I did get asked to play a show recently.
Mm-hmm.
But I was kind of a little bit hesitant about doing, even though it was going to be outdoors, and I'm still trying to figure out,
Yeah.
you know, I am considering doing the streaming thing
Yeah.
and finding out how to make that work. I have I have a Zoom and I have a laptop, and I could probably like sync things up and make it work. So Zoom meaning the recorder. I mean, of course you got the Zoom,
Right.
you know, you got the Zoom, two different Zooms
Right.
things
Are
going
you talking
on.
about live streaming?
It's like the live
basically?
streaming, yeah. And but there are options out there. I know that people have been doing Twitch.
Yeah.
And
Well, if you're just a solo musician, I mean,
Yeah.
it's up to you to create the sound. I mean, you
Yeah.
basically want to have like a decent like live mic, I guess. That's all it really would matter, I guess.
yeah, exactly.
That you can plug
just
into
sort of
your
have
computer.
an audio interface and
Right.
put it in through the
It's doable.
It is doable. I mean, I saw like that those guys did that performance the other night, and they live streamed it.
Yeah.
But someone was videotaping them too, so it was
Yeah.
like they actually had someone there moving around, making it look a little dynamic,
Oh,
you know,
yeah,
so
yeah.
it wasn't just still.
Well, you got your wife. You can have Leisha do it.
That's true. Absolutely. It's true. Yep. And we talked about figuring something out where we have a setup in the basement now. She actually has like a wall set up to do her artwork, and I have my like little space down there. But could project things off of her studio wall,
Oh yeah.
you know, and that could be interesting. So I got to figure it out. Let's see. I mean, you know, it looks like we're going to be.
At least you're interested in
Doing-
the whole production value. That's very important for the live streaming thing.
I mean, I
You know,
feel like
you
I
gotta
don't
put
want
some
to
effort into it.
That's the thing. I don't want to do it if I can't make it look decent, because it would suck to do it. Even right out of the gate, I don't want it to look bad.
Right.
You know. So, and also I want it to sound right. So I just haven't done enough of the research to. But I think I have everything I need to make it happen.
Cool. All right.
It's just.
Well, if you need anything, I might have something. I might have a thing or two you could use that could probably maybe help.
Oh, thanks
Maybe.
a lot. Yeah.
Because because I want
Well,
to see
yeah,
you
'cause
do it.
you're-
I would love to have you do something on that we can see live. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
And then
Oh,
we
thank you.
gotta hear these live. Gotta hear these
Yeah.
songs. So
Yeah, I mean, I've been throwing them in the set. There's been a couple in the sets that I've done the last few shows I played live.
yeah,
So, but you know, now that the tape's out, people wouldn't know it before then. You know,
right.
it makes sense that once you have the tape and you hear it, like you wouldn't recognize it before then. But I had been working those songs into my sets, but it would be nice to be able to. I was supposed to have a record release party in fucking May, and it was going
Right.
to be Alec doing his Doom project, Dume.
Oh, yeah.
It was his solo thing, and
Yeah.
it was going to be Dan Boucher and Sean Greenlee. Like we had
Wow.
a show. We had a show set, and then
Felt
Shit.
Yeah.
shit hit the
everybody.
fan. Fucked everybody up totally.
Yeah, man. Well, I'm
Yeah.
sorry to hear that I'm sure a lot of musicians have that similar story.
Oh, and I'm like, you know, I don't even
Come
do it. I
on.
feel bad for all my friends. Hey, everyone. I feel bad for all the people I know who actually are
Right.
touring
Yeah.
their life, you know, and that's their job. So
Right.
I'm not in that boat, but I feel for those guys, all those people.
Me too. Hopefully, they'll do something soon.
Yeah.
Hopefully, just keep our fingers crossed for that one.
Well, you know, people are doing some of these outdoor shows and things like that. They
Yeah.
are happening. Bands
Right.
are. I don't know how many of my friends have been trying to do some of that, but some people have been doing those things.
Yeah,
so.
and I got to get out to them. The things that I've wanted to go to, I just haven't fallen on good nights for me.
Yeah.
But I definitely got to get out there and, make it worth their while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. Same here. Same boat.
Yeah,
I haven't
man.
done it either.
So, Steve, it's been a pleasure having you again, man.
James.
2 hours like nothing. I mean,
my God.
I don't want to keep you because it's getting dark
Oh yeah.
out here. The bugs are gonna start coming out. The coyotes are gonna fucking come after us.
That'll be the way to end it.
Yeah, man.
The way they end the episode.
Yeah, at least this time I'll have a weapon. I'll be able to throw a beer can at him or something.
Totally. Yeah.
I'll tear it in half and have him go at him with it.
No, but thanks so much for having me back. I really enjoyed it. It's just fun. I mean, it's great that we get to hang out. And this is a great way to make that happen.
Absolutely,
And,
Steve. I appreciate it. I mean, like I said before, I love talking to you.
Same here, buddy.
Anytime, man.
Love it. Well, thank you for wanting to do this record. I think it was fun to.
I want to
this
listen
record.
to the whole thing now.
Yeah.
If you can hang out, I'll just play the whole thing.
Oh yeah, we can do that.
All right, so Chrome Jackson, Majestic Flap Flap, Bandcamp.com, ChromeJacksonBandcamp.com. You have these cassettes available.
They are available.
No album, just cassette.
It's
And
just
then
a
the digital
cassette, but it
download.
does have the digital, and you can also just purchase the digital streaming files. You could without buying the tape. The tape has the digital card, but if you want to have the physical product, that's why
It's only tape.
It's only a tape. If someone wants to put it on vinyl, that'd be awesome. But I still feel like I gotta, make it worth their while. We gotta sell these 100 tapes first before someone would be like, "Oh yeah, I'll put that on vinyl."
Yeah. Well, if you could at least do some shows.
Yes, absolutely.
So gonna have to wait for that to happen anyway. I mean,
Yeah.
no sense in making product that you can't promote.
Yeah, people want to see you doing it. They will buy it if they see you, and it's like
Especially you. You're fucking you're a madman.
Well, hey, thanks.
Maniac.
It was nice of you to say. Well, thank you, man.
That's the nicest compliment I've ever heard.
Thanks,
You're
I'm
a
a
maniac.
madman. No, maniac. Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh God.
Hey, well, thank you, Steve. Seriously,
Thanks, James.
always a pleasure.
Thanks very much. It's such a pleasure. I love it.
Final Envision is a Psychic Static production. Theme song written and performed by Jeff Robbins of 123 Astronaut.